Welcome to Digimasters Shorts. We are your hosts, Adam Nagus
and Carly Wilson, delivering the latest scoop from the digital realm. Welcome to the latest tech update. Microsoft has decided to delay the full roll-out of its Recall AI feature, initially set to be part of the Windows 11 Copilot Plus PCs launching June 18, opting instead to first run tests through its Windows Insider program. The move comes as the tech company acknowledges the need for rigorous quality and security standards, responding to a wave of security concerns by experts, regulatory scrutiny in the UK, and criticism from figures like Elon Musk, who likened Recall to a Black Mirror episode. Recall's unique ability to capture and analyze screenshots of user activity raised issues of how malware might exploit it to gather sensitive information. Microsoft, in response, has detailed privacy safeguards like just-in-time decryption, optional feature tuning, and screenshot management for users. The conversation around security doesn't end there, as former Microsoft employee Andrew Harris publicized long-standing security gaps that contributed to the 2020 SolarWinds attack, highlighting concerns about the company's overall security posture. And that's a wrap on this update. Keep an eye on how Microsoft navigates the complex landscape of AI integration and user privacy.
In an effort to address the growing need for electricity to power artificial intelligence data centers and mitigate climate change, Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates is investing heavily in nuclear energy. Gates has put $1 billion into a new nuclear power facility in Wyoming, designed by his company TerraPower, which promises to be smaller, cheaper, and safer than traditional nuclear plants. The innovative design uses sodium instead of water to cool the reactor, eliminating the high pressure and complex safety mechanisms that are typical in existing reactors. With the US Department of Energy funding half of TerraPower's project costs, Gates believes that nuclear power is a crucial step toward a greener energy future. However, the challenge remains to convince skeptics of the safety of nuclear energy and the financial viability to investors. Gates is betting on nuclear power not only to tackle climate change, but also to meet the surging electricity demand from AI data centers. Gates' investment reflects his optimism in technological innovation as he anticipates an increase in various sectors' energy requirements, including electric vehicles and domestic heating. Leading sports scientist Stephen Smith has asserted that advancements in data analytics and artificial intelligence will aid Manchester United defender Luke Shaw's recovery and fitness ahead of the European Championship. Shaw, who has been sidelined with a hamstring injury since February, has made a return to training and is selected for England's squad despite uncertainty over his readiness for the tournament, starting with the game against Serbia. Drawing contrasts with past injury scenarios faced by David Beckham and Wayne Rooney, Smith suggests that modern sports science provides more sophisticated tools to manage fitness and mitigate further injury risks. Kitman Labs, where Smith serves as CEO and which collaborates with top sports institutions, is at the forefront of developing these innovative solutions. Shaw's return to peak condition may require gradual match exposure, with sports performance teams working extensively to simulate match intensity through training drills. Southgate's decision to include Shaw in the squad is seen as a strategic move, backed by a highly skilled team, ensuring Shaw's capability to meet the demands of high-level competition. Smith emphasizes that a well-planned and data-driven approach elevates the chances for Shaw to contribute significantly to the tournament.
At the G7 summit in Bari, Italy, leaders of the world's 7 most advanced economies enter the final day of talks, with a significant focus on China's growing global influence and support for Russia. The summit made headlines as the G7 agreed to provide $50 billion in loans for Ukraine, signaling a strong stance against Russian aggression. US President Joe Biden stressed the importance of the move, emphasizing that it's a message to Russian President Putin that the West remains steadfast in its support for Ukraine. Sanctions have expanded as the US takes action against China-based firms supplying semiconductors to Russia, highlighting concerns over China's alliance with Moscow and tensions in the Asia-Pacific region. Divisions within the G7 surface regarding the approach to Chinese state subsidies, showing the complexity of the group's unified front. Furthermore, Pope Francis joins the summit, marking a historical presence of a pontiff to discuss AI and hold bilateral meetings with leaders including President Biden. Finally, G7 leaders are set to agree on summit conclusions, with immigration and bilateral relations on the agenda before many depart Italy, leaving behind a dedicated space for additional one-on-one discussions. As the insurance industry increasingly relies on AI systems for decision-making, Colorado emerges as a leading state tackling the challenging questions of algorithmic discrimination and its regulation. With the implementation of a 2021 law to protect consumers from unfair discrimination by insurance companies, Colorado officials must confront the complexities of measuring discrimination without direct racial data on policyholders. The proposed solution leans toward a method called Bayesian Improved First Name-Surname Geocoding BIFSG to infer race from names and zip codes. This method, celebrated as the gold standard, grapples with inaccuracies, particularly when estimating on an individual level in diverse neighborhoods. Concerns are raised about how to account for the inevitable imperfections in these estimations when assessing fairness in insurance practices. As the American Council of Life Insurers is slated to respond to Colorado's draft rules, and with practical and ethical implications at stake, there's a clear need for careful consideration and ensuring compliance without reinforcing discrimination. Colorado could set a precedent for how insurers nationwide address the murky waters of using non-traditional data in ways that avoid perpetuating historic biases.
Thank you for listening to today's AI and Tech News Podcast Summary. Please do leave us a comment, and for additional feedback, please email us at podcast@digimasters.co.uk. You can now follow us on Instagram and Threads by searching for @Digimaster Shorts or search for Digimasters on LinkedIn. Be sure to tune in tomorrow and don't forget to follow or subscribe.